Hello, everyone. Welcome. It's Monday evening, and tonight we're going to be doing a Long Island Cabernet Franc from Raphael. But first, we'll talk about Long Island history of wines. Long Island history of wine started in '73 by Lois and Alex Hardgrave. Now, Hardgrave came to Long Island, grew up in Rochester, went to Princeton, then studied Harvard, and nothing to do with grapes, Oriental history. And uh, he came to Long Island and loved the area, bought himself a farm, and him and his wife decided to go in the grape business. They were pretty successful, got good write-ups with Times and people, and they just planting their grapes, and before they even grew. Then within a year, they bought 90 acres next to them, and in '73 you could buy acreage cheap out east. You could buy an acre for '73s. You could buy an acre for a couple thousand. Now they're a couple million. You can pay $1 million for an acre. So that's one of the. So you had Alex Hardgrave, and then you had Kim Padell come in, who makes an excellent wine. And Hardgrave did good at first. And what happens, you had a lot of things go there. You had high interest rates. You had, and they're not general. There was really no generations of farmers. If you look at Italy, France, South America, California, 4 and 5 generations, 6 generations. They're learning by their mistakes. You got 5-generation farmers out east, but they're doing potatoes, they're doing grapes, they've owned their land, they're working their land. The wine farmer is new to the table. Okay, so you're dealing with high cost of land, labor extremely hard to get, and house. Labor. It's so in California they bring pickers in just for the season. You're not doing that in the Hamptons, and you're not. It's just in the North Fork, more wineries are in the North Fork than the South Fork because the price of land in the North Fork is half the price of the South Fork. And like we say, corn. Even in the summer, they'll take corn from Riverhead, and they'll the farmers in the South Fork will sell the North Fork corn, and then vice versa, okay? Because the ocean breezes, restrict. So they grow different grapes out there, and they're learning this as they went. They started with the Francs, they started with some of the Chardonnays, then they went to German wines, then they're going to Rieslings, because the weather is inconsistent on Long Island, okay? And we don't have, if we look at Europe, when we look at California, the corridor they call it, right? You go through the corridor, and because you got the 2 mountain ranges protecting it from rains. You look at Australia. Australia gets the mountain ranges. Almost 95% of the grapes done because the mountain range protects it. Okay. You look at Italy, protects it from the Alps. Okay. So you definitely want the maritime climate, which they have, but you don't have protection from fog. You don't have protection from rain. In 1985, in 2005, 2005 was supposed to be the vintage of vintages. Everything was going great. Then in October, you got 20 inches of rain, which was like a record for that. Okay? They lost 80% of their grapes. So, because you can't pick it once it's raining, and then you'll figure the next day, it can't keep raining. Well, it kept raining. So, it's and you can't pick the grape before it's time because it's not, if it's close, if they're looking at a grape and that grape is 90% there, 98% there, and they know a storm, then they'll go out and pick it. But if the grape's 70% there, you can't go, you can't pick it. So, and that, they let actually go almost to October. And this is a 2017, okay? Now the 2017, rainy spring, no buds till June, which is late. Cold August, colder than normal. Warmer September than August, and carried them into October, so they were able to pull the grape and survived. So you got cost of land, cost of labor, and the weather. So Long Island has its wines that all of a sudden, they can knock the cover off the ball. The consistency is the hard part. Okay, and you do have some, they're smart people. Plus, the size of 70% of the wines on Long Island are sold through wine clubs, direct mails or at the winery. Because there's smaller wineries, you know, and in California, they have the consistency to grow wine. I've auctioned off wines in California, petite wines that bring 300 a bottle because you can't get them. Everybody has to have it because you can't get it. Here, it also has to have, you know, the wine will also, in a blind tasting, if they start winning blind tastings, and they've started to win a couple. If you start winning blind tastings at reputable areas, not the New York wine blind tasting, but if you win California, France, Italy, that's how you do it. That's how Napa Valley did it with Mondavi. That's how Heinzeller did it. And that's what Long Island has to do. But they just trying to get the whole thing. It's a young business. It's only been in business. You know, they put the sign up in 1973. These guys are fifth generation, 1600s, 1800s, 1900s. You know, we're 1973. It's our first. So, but this winery is they built this on, this is built by John Petrocelli, okay, in 1998. And what he did was he built this winery, and he built it 12 feet below surface, the floors, you know, for all the, because at 12 feet, he was at 55 degrees. So in the summer and the winter, he's at 55 degrees. What do we say the perfect temperature for a wine cellar is? 55 degrees. So it's economically efficient, okay? His heat, his drainage, his thing. But he can't, at that level, he can't do gravity feed, you know, so produce the wine. So that goes up a little bit. But it's a win-win the other way, okay? And another thing is he named it after his dad, Raphael, okay? And if you looked at it, it looks like that winery is like, okay, I don't care what it cost. I want to make it look like it was in the 1800s in either France or Italy. It's right there. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful winery, okay? Now, and this, you have, there's like Channing daughters, right? You have Wolfert, Lentz, Bedell. Kim Bedell makes an excellent Chardonnay. Priced right, excellent Chardonnay. I used to drink a lot of it. Then you have Raphael, Palmanac, you know, and there's others, but those 5 or 6 are, and they're new at the game. Like Wolfert is maybe 20 years old, and he was a nice guy, very well loved. Matter of fact, he died he was a very wealthy individual, lived in Sagaponack, and he was in a boating accident about 7 years ago. But they continued to do it, his children do it, run the thing. And he's had some quality people, and he was a quality person. They make a very nice wine. We're going to try one of their wines tomorrow night. Okay? Now, the Cabernet Franc is the parent of the Cabernet Sauvignon and the Merlot. Okay? And they use it in Super Tuscanies. That's why Super Tuscanies have to be called Super Tuscans. They can't fall under DOCG or DOC because it's a French grape. Okay, it's also big in Spain, the Bassi region. It's, you know, it's a big grape. Big in Chile. Chile they use it. Argentina. Cabernet Franc is used in Bordeaux. It's a good grape. Okay, so we'll give this a shot. Now these wines are fermented. He picks his grapes, 12 days, destems them, hand crushes them, but doesn't crush them until they're destemmed, okay? Then he, stainless steel fermentation, 12, 15 days, 10 months in oak, neutral oak. He doesn't use, tries to get as neutral oak as he can get. They'd like to keep the mineralization from the land. They use a little bit of, they don't use any artificials. They use a little lees, you know, with the fermentation right from the wine for stirring. Okay, but he likes the grape to be as best it can. Another thing they got to worry about in Long Island is fog. Like I say, if you had the mountain range, keep the rain out, keep the fog out, and keep long summer days. But, I mean, if they have a good season, they can have good wines. This wine's got a nice little smell to it. Good nose. I'd say almost like a Beaujolais look color. See, she's young red. It's gonna be, I'd say, more medium body than a full. It's got the berry. You know what? It's got something there in the middle. I don't know if it could be the. It's got soft tannin but fresh acidity. The acidity is right in the mouth. If you like acidity, you'll like the wine. The acidity is right in the middle of your tongue. Okay, it rolls. It's rolling around your tongue. The acidity gives you a little. This would be complementary to the right food. You put the right food and cheese in there. I'm telling you, you have to try different foods with wines. It's amazing. They changed the wine. They've changed each other, the food and the wine. This is definitely like a beef, soft cheese. I would put this with cheddar. Corn chowder. A little corn chowder with this. That works. Right? Some root vegetables. Match the hatch. Right? Do summer root vegetables this with a corn chowder. It's not a licorice, but it's got to be the acidity. You know, it's got like that. It's got a nice taste to it. You know, sells for about 13 a bottle. It's rated about 87, I think. Okay, but it's a nice wine. It's a nice wine. We'll see you tomorrow. And tonight, don't forget, we have the Robin Hood Foundation's doing a thing with all the entertainers. It's supposed to be pretty good. You know, it's about bring New York back. You know, they're doing the great sport moments and stuff. So, listen, you all have a great night. And let's not forget the heroes, okay? Pray for everybody. Head hits the pillow before sitting around. Just get a minute. Sign of the cross, praying. Keep everybody in your prayers, okay? God bless. Take care. See you tomorrow.